All right, y'all. Good evening. What I want you to do is take a minute, close your eyes for just a minute. I want you to remember the worst day you ever had at work. What was that feeling like when you were experiencing an awful day at work? My guess is that what you needed was someone to show you some compassion, someone to show you some empathy. I'm here to tell you tonight why compassionate leadership is the future of leadership and why we need that more than ever. You can open your eyes back up. We're struggling, y'all, right? The world seems like it's on fire. Every time we look around, there's a disaster. There's always some sort of change and volatility. AI is coming for our jobs, right? We're more politically divided than we ever have been in our history. Things are bad, but the constant that we do have is change. And how do we manage change? We manage change through compassion, through empathy. And my argument is we're going to need compassion even more as we progress through technology changes, through changes in work, and through changes in our society. So there's a lot of evidence to show that compassionate leadership from a leadership role actually works, right? My colleague and I, Jiao Dan Wu, we just submitted a review paper where we showed that compassionate leadership is linked to increased job satisfaction, increased work commitment, increased job performance. We know it's important for psychological safety. There was a study by Google, Project Aristotle, that shows that psychological safety is the most important predictor when it comes to team performance. We know compassionate leadership works, and we know it's effective. Now, I'm not talking about toxic positivity, right? I'm not talking about smiling and being puppy dogs and rainbows even when the world is on fire. And like, this is fine, right? That is not compassionate leadership, right? Compassionate leadership is showing genuine care and concern for the people that you are leading, right? I'm going to give you a 4-part framework to remember this. Now, you've heard of NSFW, not safe for work, right? I'm going to give you NSFA. NSFA was a framework by Monica Werlein and Jane Dutton from the University of Michigan. N is noticing. Noticing when people are struggling. Noticing when people in the workplace need help. When do they need someone to give them a break? When do they need someone to give them a helping hand? S is sense making. Making sense of what are the signals that person is trying to show you, right? What are they trying to convey in their emotions and the things that they are saying or the behaviors that you're seeing in that? F is feeling. Feeling for that person. And we think about it in terms of empathy. Not sympathy, like, oh, poor, pitiful you, but empathy, feeling what that person is feeling, doing your best to put yourself in that person's position. And then A, which to me is the most important part, is acting. Acting on that empathy, acting on that compassion, instead of walking past the person on the street that needs help, doing something to help that person. We can do these things in the workplace. And when I say these things, people think of compassionate leadership as though it's some sort of heroic kind of leadership. What I'm talking about is everyday compassion. How can I help you? What can I do to make this a better workplace for you and for your team? Now, there's 3 ways we can do that. I'm going to give you some tips for how we can do that. If you're in a leadership role, you can do it at the individual role, the individual level, the team level, and the organizational level. Individual level is just one-on-one working with people. How are you doing? How are things? How's the family? What can I do to help you be a better person at work today? Give you a quick example I give with my students. You got a team member shows up late for work every single day for an entire week. Now, the default in a lot of organizations is, well, there's something wrong with that person, right? Why are they not showing up on time? Well, they got something wrong with them, or there's something about them. What if I told you that person showed up late every single day because they were a single mom and they couldn't get childcare. Did you bother to ask? Did you bother to get to the bottom of that situation in terms of what exactly is going on in that person's life? That's everyday compassionate leadership. And we can do that, right? Now, a lot of people, my students will say, well, Dr. Gorman, that's hard. That takes a lot of work. That pushes me outside of my typical management role. And to that, I would say, yes, that is leadership. Show me the book called Easy Leadership. Doesn't exist, right? Leadership is hard, but if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Second level, team level. When you, and this is an example for probably most of you in this audience, how many of you love to sit in team meetings at work? One of you. Team meetings are one of the easiest places where we can show compassionate leadership. How can I show compassionate leadership in a team meeting? Give your team an agenda beforehand. Give them something to actually look at and prepare for when they get to that meeting, right? I can't tell you how many meetings I've shown up to that I have no agenda, I have no clue what we're supposed to talk about. And when we all sit down, the leader says, well, here's this big thing we need to talk about. What do you all think, right? And to my fellow introverts in the room like me, I'm like, I don't know. I need time to digest this. I need time to think about it. I need to craft responses in my head. Give me a few days and I'll come back to you with something good. But I can't do this right now. Showing compassion is easy. Give your team an agenda, right? Another one, we saw this a lot during COVID. When COVID hit, all of our meetings moved to Zoom. And the meeting started at 2 o'clock. Everybody hopped on at 2 o'clock, and we got right to business, right? Versus how we used to do meetings is everybody would file in 5-10 minutes before. Everybody would stand around in the back, and you'd chit-chat, and you'd catch up. Hey, how's the family? How's blah, blah, blah? Now, post-COVID, we've carried over that COVID mentality. We just get straight to the meeting, and we skip through all the small talk. We skip through all the other stuff. We're not showing any compassion with those people in those meetings because we're getting straight to business and we're skipping the relationship building part, right? And then the third thing we can do in meetings, how many meetings have you been in where the leader talks first and they talk the entire meeting? Well, just make this an email. If you want me to come to a meeting, then give me a chance to contribute, right? The leaders should always talk last in those meetings. If I'm gathering input from my team, I'm not going to tell everybody what I already think, because once I tell you what I think, what are you going to say? Okay, sure. That sounds great. Whatever you want to do, right? Show compassion in your team meetings. Third level, organizational level. For those of you who are responsible for writing policy in organizations, where's compassion in our organizational policies? I guarantee you, we don't write policies to be compassionate. We write policies in organizations because somebody screwed up 10 years ago, and now we have to have a policy for it, right? That's not compassion. Our policy should be rooted in human dignity, human compassion for our fellow humans that we show up to work with every single day. Showing compassion through the policies that we create. Now, across all of these levels, we can do little things just in our everyday interactions. You probably heard of time batching, right? Which is basically creating time in your schedule to get something done. So you might block out an entire Friday morning just to work on some project. You block out your calendar. Why don't we do compassion batching? Compassion batching, I'm going to take Friday morning and I'm going to go around and talk to everybody on my team, see how they're doing, catch up with them, ask them, is there anything I can do to help them be a better person in the workplace? Compassion batching is an easy thing we can do. I want to leave you with a 30-day challenge, and this comes from You probably remember the cosmetics mogul, Mary Kay. Mary Kay was famous for saying, all of my employees, I imagine they have a box over the top of their head that says, I need help. I need help. Whenever you see people in your organization that you're working with and you're leading, imagine, what do they need help with? What can you help them in terms of removing barriers, making their work life better, making things smoother? What can you do to contribute? That's my challenge to you all. Compassionate leadership is the future.